So when you edit your picture using an AI tool, is that picture still yours? Now hold that thought for a moment. Hello there, welcome back to Half-Light, where we break all possible photography rules. So in this video, I wanted to briefly explore how does AI and AI tools affect our photography. What does it mean to us? I mean, let's face it, with AI today, you can generate content, you can replace content, you can remove content, you can use masking, which is an absolutely great tool, great help, great time saver. But the question is, how does that affect our photography? And most importantly, we have to remember that we all have our own unique signature, our own footprint as artists, as photographers.
And just a quick reminder that subscribing to this channel, liking and sharing this video helps more people in finding this kind of content, and it is a big deal. And also you would be supporting my work. Thank you so much for your kind support.
I believe that ultimately it all boils down to our own red lines, our self-imposed constraints. All constraints in art will help you develop skills in different directions, from different angles. So AI is here to stay. There's no question about that. It's just a question, how do we use that in such a way that we can still preserve our uniqueness as artists and photographers? Okay, now let's go through some examples of AI-based editing. Here's a couple of images I'm going to show you and how AI edits will affect them. As you can see in this example, I removed quite many birds, and the reason was that I like this whole frame here, but there was just too many birds coming and going, and I realized that there is just no way I can wait for a moment where there's only one or two birds, which was my goal. So I decided to remove them, and this is a good example of how removing distractions from the image is definitely a way to go for me, because it doesn't really change the fact that the picture is mine, and on the contrary, it actually cleans it up. And remember, when we frame an image on the scene, we're actually doing a reductionist operation, because we are removing all the unnecessary fluff to come to a bare minimum that will make our picture truly great, at least meet our expectations.
Yes, I made this shot in Lightroom, and no, I am not okay. Oh, sorry, you shouldn't.
Next, here is an example for AI masking. So here I use the subject masking. As you can see, it did a fairly good job. It's far from perfect. I will have to tweak it and finish it, but overall this is a huge time saver, because doing this manually completely would have been a huge adventure. And let's face it, the big question here is, what do I do with the mask? How do I edit it further? That's where potentially ethical questions come into play. By using AI for masking itself, I think it's a great tool, and I absolutely have no issues with that. Here's another example for removal, and this is a picture I'm going to show you in Photoshop too. But just wanted to give you an idea. So here I removed these two benches, this sign, and this trash bin, and I like the overall scene here, the frame, the way the composition is set up with these two trees. And again, this is for me a case of cleaning the image up, make it more minimalistic. And yes, this image is clearly still mine. It just simply doesn't have all these distractions. So using AI removal tools for something like this is definitely a way to go. Obviously, there are some red lines here potentially, but I'm not too worried. Again, this is just removing distractions. Now let's look at the same image in Photoshop. Now, if you remember, this image had two benches here, one somewhere here, another somewhere here. But what if I like to have a bench here? I just didn't like the original one, where I can potentially add one. I just selected this area. I'm gonna use generative fill. I'm gonna ask for a snow cover bench, and let's see what it delivers. And bang, look at this, we have a bench. Let's see other two options. They're not perfect. This is actually quite nice. So if one of these benches was actually here in this location, I would have probably kept them at least in one version of this image. But to add this bench, knowing that it wasn't there, even though there were some other benches here, for me that's an absolute and permanent red line. So this is a great example where I would never use AI as a tool for editing.
thank you for watching. It has been a huge privilege sharing this information with you, and hope to see you guys soon. Now go ahead and do some editing and be careful about that AI. Have a good one and see you next time.